Jesus, take the wheel and run me off the road. I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say. Just maybe do a little quick prayer first before I let it out. Dear Heavenly Mother Beyonce, I'm about to do something that I swore I would never do. And before I do it, I just ask that you be with me and you guide my steps and my thoughts and that you keep my sanity intact because I'm about to start dating again. I haven't been in a relationship since 2021. I only entertained the idea of dating back in 2022, so it's been a good while since I've been out in the streets, so to speak. And even that was like a really brief stint, and I was like, not ready. But I'm ready now, but I'm also rusty, so here we go. I mean, dating is dating is difficult. It is very hard. I also believe that being Black and being gay, it brings another unique set of roadblocks or hurdles when it comes to dating. But I just think in general, these days, dating is difficult, especially for us elder millennials. I just got out of a situationship that reminded me, A, why it's been so many years since I've dated, but also why dating is fun and being with somebody is good and necessary. It's something that we as human beings need to do. We are built to be in a relationship with one another, but finding a person to be in a relationship with is so fucking difficult. So I just got out of a situation with a great guy. He was a great guy, not great for me, but a great guy. And I was reminded that, finding somebody, especially at, this ripe old age of 40, I'm not just trying to get into a relationship to be in a relationship. Like, I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for somebody to build a life with. I'm looking for somebody to be a support system. And to have those things, you cannot just align yourself with just anybody because they make you smile or they make you laugh or you have a good time when you're with them. There are fundamental things that they need to bring to the table in order for there to be reason to sit down and have a 4-course meal with this person. That is a metaphor. Those things are hard. It's hard to walk away from something when the person's a good person and nothing bad has happened, but you just know that it just doesn't feel right. I'm trying to learn to trust my gut and my intuition and to know that I know what is best for me. And if something does not feel safe, if something doesn't feel like a good idea for me, that I need to honor that and I need to respect that and I need to move on, hoping and believing that if this wasn't it and that there is something else. Like, I don't want to stay in something because it's good enough, because then I'm blocking myself from what is right for me. And I am so done blocking my blessings. I have blocked so many of my blessings in my life, and we are not doing that anymore. Not after all the shit I've been through this year. I don't think I've ever been somebody who's been particularly good at dating, not because I'm not a good person to date. I think that I am. I think that I'm kind and I'm smart and I'm emotionally intelligent and available. And I think that I am funny and I like adventures and I am spontaneous and I don't really have a lot of hang-ups. I'm very open-minded and adventurous sexually. Sorry if that's TMI. Like, there are a lot of reasons why I think that I would be a good candidate to be somebody's partner. But in a lot of regards, I've also, my whole entire adult life, felt very broken when it comes to like dating, just because the pace I move has always been slower. There was a time where I moved at the pace that I thought I was supposed to go because it's what all my friends were doing. It's how you see relationships, especially gay relationships, depicted in TV and movies. I'm a sap. I am a hopeless romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic. I don't like the term hopeless romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic, but I'm a romantic. And so I bring a lot of thought and care to the decisions that I make when it comes to a partner and the way I move in a relationship. Sometimes I overthink and bring too much care, but it's not really my style to like meet somebody, sleep with them right away, and jump into a full-blown relationship. Have I done that in the past? Yes. Has it ever worked out for me? No. If my heart and my mind are not moving somewhat close together, and one gets in front of the other, it just turns into a mess. I get very overwhelmed. I get very unsure of myself and my feelings, and so many times in the past move faster than I'm ready to move because the other person has required it of me, or I convince myself that if I don't, the other person will lose interest and then I will lose them. My last relationship began and ended during the pandemic. It was a very big, pivotal relationship in my life. And because of that, I did need to take time afterwards to process and digest and properly move on from it. But if I'm honest, I also haven't dated in the last 3 years, almost 4 years, because I'm scared to get that close to somebody again, to build a life with somebody again, just to have it possibly not work out. And I know that that is the crux of relationships, that they are a gamble and they don't always work out, at least not in the long run. There's only so much growth that can happen inside of a platonic relationship. I think that romantic and sexual relationships are very important to human growth and development. And so while I still want and desire those things very much, I am terrified of being vulnerable again and putting myself out there again to have it not work out, or to have it be with the wrong person again, to know that I am still not choosing. I don't know if I trust myself to choose right. I've more often than not in my life, I've chosen the wrong partner. I have fallen for potential and not the person. I've ignored a lot of red flags. And even though I've spent this year doing so much work on my heart and my head, and spending time with myself and being comfortable with me and enjoying my own company, truly, I don't know if I'm having trust issues with myself and my selection choices. And I'm afraid that I'll get into a relationship and realize that I still haven't learned my lesson. And I'm done learning lessons. I really truly am. I don't know if I have another lesson left in me to learn when it comes to romantic relationships. I just can't do it. I swear to God, the next guy that breaks my heart will be hearing from my lawyers. I'm max capacity, you know what I'm saying? Near the end of the summer, I kind of accidentally fell back into the dating scene, and so far it's been positive, more positive than negative. I've been reminded why relationships past platonicness are important and the value that they add to the human experience, the lightness that they bring to your days, and I'm a firm believer we should give ourselves something to look forward to that isn't a person, but it's nice to have something to look forward to, or somebody to look forward to, or a conversation to look forward to, or an interaction to look forward to. But I've also been quickly reminded that it is difficult to find somebody to build something with. Finding somebody to date, just to date, finding somebody to sleep with, those things are easy. Those things you can walk outside and trip over somebody that could fill those spots in your life. But I have never been a person who desires that type of relationship. I've always been a hopeful romantic, somebody who craves the intimacy of the conversation and the building and the support and the helping each other through things, not just the romance and sex of it all. All that stuff is great and it is so necessary in a relationship, but for me, that's not the meat and potatoes of a relationship. For me, the good stuff is the work that you put in together to build a life together. To be able to do that, there needs to be an equal amount of emotional maturity and willingness to be vulnerable, and a willingness to hold yourselves and each other accountable. And not everybody is built for that. We all have different levels and barometers for what that looks like for us. And so to find somebody who matches yours, it's not an easy thing to do, and it takes time. And I think that that's the part that I'm struggling with right now, is the reminder that it's gonna take time. I'm not going to just start dating again and he's gonna fall into my lap. Like it's going to take time, and I'm going to have to go through so many talking phases, and I'm going to have to go on so many dates that don't go anywhere, and I'm going to have to take part in a few more situationships. I just don't know if I have it in me for that, if I'm being honest. I just got out of a situationship where he was a great guy, is a great guy, and there was a lot of things that made me believe that we could have worked out in the long run. But there were fundamental things that we were very different. And the biggest thing being the pace at which we moved in and through a relationship. He was very Speedy Gonzalez, like ready for everything all at once. And I used to be that person. I'm not anymore, and that is through experience and growth, and also through being honest with myself and knowing that I've never really been a person to move quickly in a relationship. There are times where I forced myself to, and it left me feeling very uncomfortable and disappointed with myself, and in turn, I would transfer that disappointment onto them. And then things fall apart and it just doesn't work out. And so I am very clear with myself that I know that I need to move slowly in a relationship. Some might say at a snail's pace, and I know that it is slower than most people want to go. And I am okay with that. I am gotten to a point where I am not gonna fake the funk just to keep somebody around. I'm not led to believe that I am part of a normal demographic of people who take time before they have sex with somebody, who take time before they profess their love and adoration for somebody. Like, I think that feelings take time, genuine feelings take time to grow. I'm not someone who just because I've, been dating somebody for a couple weeks or a couple months means that I'm in a relationship with them. I don't think you should be in a relationship with somebody until you are ready to call that person your partner, until you're ready to build a life with that person. And you can only know if that's a person for you once you've experienced certain things with them. Like, you have to get through an argument or a disagreement with them and see how they handle themselves in that situation, and see how somebody reacts to rejection or disappointment, or how they respond when their perspective is challenged or their boundaries are tested. You have to see how respectful they are to your boundaries. All of that stuff takes time. It takes a lot of time, and at least for me, it does. There are some people who are able to just quickly jump into things and figure it out as it goes along. I am a person who likes to obtain as much information as possible so I can make an educated decision if this is a person that I am going to risk giving a lot of my time to. Because if it doesn't work out, at least I know that I did my due diligence beforehand, and then this is just a casualty of love and dating, because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out, because finding the right person for you, it's not an easy thing to do. Being single in your 40s is not it. It is not fun. Like, it's weekends by yourself, it's evenings by yourself. Like, do you know how depressing it is some days to come home after a long day of work and just want somebody to, like, debrief your day with, or having somebody to just sit and veg and binge watch something with, or having somebody to make a meal with and sit down and have conversations and plan out what you're going to do for your weekend. Weekends are bullshit when you're single. Being in your 40s when you're single is bullshit because most of your friends are married and have children or are in relationships. So it means being by yourself a lot of the times. And yes, I'm an introvert and I'm a homebody. And so being by myself doesn't bother me because I like being at home and I like my own company, but it doesn't mean I want to do it every single weekend. And that is kind of what my life is turning into right now in my 40s. I'm going to be 41 in 2 months, and I desperately want that to change. I desperately do not want to live this life by myself anymore because the world is on fucking fire and it is terrifying out there, and doing this shit solo is just like, it's not it. It's not the move. It's just like, I hate it. But I'm also not going to force myself to be in a situation just to be in a situation, so I'm not raw dogging this experience by myself. That is also not the move. That is also not it. Even though I really don't wanna, I will wait a little bit longer for him to arrive. And in the meantime, there's a new season of Grey's Anatomy that just came out, so there's that. I have that to do. I don't know. I think I need to just start calling these videos Anwar's rambling sessions, because I feel like I always get to this point where I like lost the plot. I don't remember why I sat down in this chair. I don't remember what we're really talking about or what the point of this conversation is. But thanks for having it with me. Thanks for sitting here and listening to me ramble. Sometimes it is just better. Like, I think I like making these videos because it gives me an opportunity to sit down and get all that's going on up here out. Again, being single, I spend most of my time alone, and so I'm just usually thinking my thoughts. I'm not usually speaking them out into existence. Please don't settle. And please trust your gut and your intuition. Like, we all know what feels right and what feels safe and what feels good. And that is for anything. Romantic relationship, platonic relationships, our jobs, like everything in life. We know when something feels the way it's supposed to feel and when it feels like it doesn't. And you have to have enough faith and trust and hope in the process that if you remove yourself from that you will not be punished as a result of, but you will be rewarded with the right things that make you feel good. This world is chaotic and crazy enough that we should not be adding to it by purposefully putting ourselves in positions to not feel good. Anyway, this has been lovely. Great to talk to you. Great to see you. Hopefully it's been great to see me. And I hope you have a day that is good. Okay, goodbye.